What's going on, everyone? My name is, well, you really don't care my name is, and today I'm going to be reviewing the movie Thor, Love, and Thunder. This is the fourth Thor film, and the only MCU solo film to get 4 films. This is also the sequel to the 2017 film directed by Taika Waititi, who's also one of the 2 writers of the film, the other being Jennifer Robinson, who you may or may not remember from her 2019's Someone Great and 2020's Unpregnant. The film takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame, where we see Thor join the Guardians of the Galaxy in order to find a peaceful life. That is, until he finds out a being called Gorr is going around killing gods. Gorr arrives to Earth and attacks New Asgard, where we see Jane Foster has gotten Thor's old hammer Mjolnir, which was destroyed in the last film. So now it's up to Thor, Jane, Valkyrie, and Korg in order to work together to find other gods to team with in order to stop Gorr before it's too late. So, I'm not gonna lie, after seeing Doctor Strange, I think a lot of people, especially Marvel fans, what they needed was a good, fun movie that, has fun jokes, good fights, good character development, and a good villain, kind of like what we got in the last film, in order to make up for what we saw in the Doctor Strange movie. Well, we kind of got all of that, except it was mostly just the jokes and less on good fights, characters development, and very little on the villain. So, yeah, that kind of left me and a lot of people, from the looks of things, disappointed with how the film turned out. Now, the last film, it did a good job balancing out everything, balancing out the jokes, the fights, development, and villain properly, keeping the audience wanting to see what happens, but also keeping them entertained, which is kind of what we were hoping for. Not gonna lie, the first 2 Thor films didn't really have any of that, so this one was different, and I actually appreciated it. However, this film, what we ended up getting was more jokes and less on everything else. In my review for Black Widow, there were some good, serious, and emotional scenes that could have helped the film, but was ruined with the constant jokes thrown in to ruin those moments. And that's kind of what it felt like with this movie. Not that it didn't have good scenes where they took things seriously, but the film heavily relied on the humor, and it's hard to really take it seriously. In fact, it kind of felt like it was a parody movie, not really a comic book movie. The jokes in the first film, were fine. Second film, a little bit. Third one really helped out. But this one, heavily relying on that, didn't really help at all. The jokes in the first act of the film worked out fine, but when you have a god killer going around killing gods, kidnapping kids, and threatening the lives of, everyone, maybe save some of the jokes for another time. To me, the story really hurt the film a lot, but what about the characters? Well, Chris Hemsworth as Thor is always a joy to see in these films. I know some critics complained he'd appear dumb in this film, but I don't really see it that way. To me, Thor was never the brightest of the Marvel heroes. He's not stupid, and he does have his moments where he's a wise and good leader. In the films, we kind of see that. He was kind of a spoiled brat. Well, not really kind of. He was a spoiled brat in the first film. But then ended up becoming a badass warrior and someone who did the right thing. And also someone now who's trying to figure out what to do with his life. And yeah, again, he's not the brightest, but he does have his moments that makes him such a good character. Natalie Portman reprising her role was a lot of fun. And I did enjoy the chemistry she had with Chris as Thor. It's a big improvement from the last 2 films where we saw these 2 together, and the love here actually feels a lot more better than the last 2. And I love the fact that Jane here is trying to learn to be a hero like Thor, while seeing that there is some chemistry between the 2 and how much they do love one another. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie is still a badass, and Taika Waititi, who actually plays Korg, he does a good job too. I still have a good laugh whenever he appears. The star, though, to me that shined the most was Christian Bale as gorrthegodbutcher. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like how he looked. I myself was one of them, but I didn't mind, and I did enjoy his performance. It was gonna be different, I knew that. They were not going to have him with the same power since there's no symbiote in the MCU film for the moment. But when he appeared on the screen, he was awesome. Bale not only did an amazing job with the role, but made sure any scene with him, he took it seriously. No dumb jokes to ruin the moments. They made sure to show him that he's an actual threat, and I thought they did a good job with that. Well done. As for the other actors, they all did fine. Russell Crowe was fine, but sadly the plot, heavily relying on the jokes and the humor, really did hurt the movie. As far as the special effects are concerned, I did love how they explored these different these worlds and how they shot everything, and some of these areas felt a lot like from the comics. And I did enjoy some of the fight scenes. I did like also the new getup that Thor has along with Jane. I thought they did a good job with that. The music was fine, but let's be honest, it's not as good as the immigration song from the last film. But as I said before, the film's heavily reliant on humor kind of ruined the tone because, as I said before, it felt like this was becoming more of a parody film than an actual MCU film. So yeah, the humor and the plot really did hurt the movie, but is it really that bad? No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it was not as bad as the second film and better than the first one, but after how the 2017 film went, this was a little disappointing, especially how, what they did with Jane and Gore by the end of the film. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, I was really disappointed what they did. I can really tell they're trying to set up a fifth film, which I won't be against it as long as you learn from your mistakes and do not rely heavily on the humor. Keep it balanced, and you'll be able to make this a fun fifth film. So if you guys want to go see it with your friends, your kids, your loved ones, go right ahead. It's not going to be for everyone, but I'm sure for some, they'll enjoy this movie nonetheless.